If I was moving to Portland right now, I would want to know what neighborhoods is everyone else looking in. Like, I'm nosy. I'd want to know, like, where should I be looking that I don't know about?
Well, you know what? Let's make a video about that. That's exactly what we're going to talk about today. If you're thinking about moving to Portland, Oregon, then definitely check out this video. We're going to share with you guys the top neighborhoods that our clients are reaching out to us about. And some of the top neighborhoods we recommend, they kind of coincide with each other. These are Portland's top neighborhoods that people are moving to. Let's go. Hey everybody, my name's Aaron Cullen, and this is my wife Brianna Cullen, and we have a real estate company right here in Portland, Oregon. Now today we are in Lake Oswego. Downtown is right here behind us, and we're going to be talking about the top neighborhoods that people are moving to right here in Portland, Oregon.
Now, we can't get into all of them, so obviously if there are places in town that you're thinking about, reach out and we can give you more information on the neighborhood that's going to be the best fit for you. But today we just wanted to kind of hop around a few neighborhoods that people are reaching out and asking about and want to come tour really frequently over the last year.
Okay, so we're going to walk through Lake Oswego as we go over these different neighborhoods. Now, since we're here in Lake Oswego, and that's actually where we live, why don't we talk about it a little bit?
We came down here, we grabbed a coffee from Morse Coffee, which is our favorite coffee shop here in Lake Oswego. And one of the things that I love about Lake Oswego is it's a small town, and it's, you know, right adjacent to Portland and all the access to everything that Portland has to offer, but Lake Oswego really does feel like a small town. When we are out and about with our kids, we're going to different activities, we are running into people that we know really frequently, and I love that. I love that small town feel here.
And that's one of the awesome things about Portland that I really like is each neighborhood does have its own feel to it and its own little pocket, its own little community. One of the differences is in some of the different neighborhoods in Portland is some might not have like a main street where they do the, you know, farmers market and all the town gets together for, you know, different functions and things like that.
So yeah, you're right. A lot of these neighborhoods in Portland that we're going to talk about, and a lot of other neighborhoods, have like a small village feeling. And so most of them do have a main street and a certain kind of flavor to the neighborhood. They often have some local shops, restaurants, cafes in the main street area. And one of the great things about some of those neighborhoods in Portland, especially closer in, we're going to talk about a couple of these, is they tend to be pretty walkable, which I think a lot of people, when they think about moving to Portland, they really want that. Like, that is a high priority for a lot of the people reaching out to us. Now, depending on what you ultimately choose, you may discover that what you really want, especially if it's more space, a bigger house, more nature, that might outweigh your desire for walkability. So for a lot of people, especially somewhere like Lake Oswego or in some of the Southwest Hills, they might ultimately end up choosing away from walkability, but all those neighborhoods still do have like a center that feels very communal.
And you're not going to be more than 5-10 minute drive to the main street with the shops and things like that. So you're still going to be very, very close, very short driving distance, which is great. And that was one of the factors that we chose.
Yeah, the downside of that is you kind of have to push yourself a little harder to get out of your own neighborhood and go explore other things. Yeah. We can definitely get very rooted here in Lake Oswego. We have everything we need, but it's still so much fun to go explore other neighborhoods. In fact, yesterday morning, as we were like making our kids breakfast and coffee, our power randomly went out at our house, and there's this restaurant that I've been wanting to go to over in the Southwest. I think it was like 16 minutes on the map from our house, but we hadn't tried it yet because that's just like a little farther than we usually end up going. But the power was out, and so when our nanny arrived and took the kids to the park, I was like, let's go out to breakfast at that at this cafe. I mean, it was so
Nordic House.
Yeah, it was Nordic House, Broder Soder, and it was like my dream kind of cafe. It was so fun to go out there. It was really, it's just a really neat space, but you do have to like push yourself to get out of your bubble and check out other neighborhoods.
Yeah, and a great example, I just this morning got off a Zoom client call, And one of their top things on their list that they're looking for in a neighborhood in Portland is walkability to shops. I mean, this is a constant theme, and hey, I get it. You know, that's one of the things that we wanted too. But I think something to keep in mind, if you're just like a 5-minute drive to shops, hey, I think that can also check a lot of the marks if you want that neighborhood feel.
You have some other clients that just recently landed in Mount Tabor, and that wasn't really on their radar when they were first considering Portland.
No.
What do you think it is about Mount Tabor that is really drawing people?
You know, the biggest draw I think to Mount Tabor is once you're there and walking around the neighborhood, it has this really neighborhoody feel. Can I use that word?
It's got like
too many
good
times?
feng shui or something.
Yeah, it's hip, it's vibrant. There's the people that live there really care about their neighborhood, and so all the houses are well kept. The lawns are mowed, and most of the homes are 100-year-old homes. So you get a lot of that vintage cottage,
craftsman, Portland, like iconic style,
Tudor feel to the homes. And Mount Tabor, which is an amazing, huge park, is just to the east of Mount Tabor.
And you know what I think it is that's really special about that is that you're in the more high density southeast part of Portland, which is like classic Portland vibe.
Yeah.
But you have that access to nature and the forested park at Mount Tabor, a reservoir, which is also really a community gathering space. Yeah. So it's like best of both worlds.
Yeah. And the neighborhood is 100% walkability. And your average price point in Mount Tabor for a nice 4.2 is going to be starting out in that $800,000 range on up from there.
You know, for us, when we were coming from LA, that sounds like a great value.
Yeah, no, it really does. Yeah, in LA, we were looking at these like decrepit homes for $900,000 to really...
Not in LA, that we're like way out in the valley.
Out in the suburbs where it's super hot. So we just couldn't bring ourselves to do it. So I would say Mount Tabor right now is probably my #1 recommendation if you want that city, urban, 100% walkability vibe, yoga studios, coffee shops. You want that flavor of the city. Mount Tabor is going to be your cup of tea, 100%. It also has great public schools zoned to that neighborhood as well. So, if you're a family, if you're single, whatever your case be, if you're retired, that could be a great option for you.
Okay, so if we stay over on the east side of town, what other neighborhoods are people really interested in or asking about?
So I can't talk about the east side without talking about Irvington.
Ooh, so when I lived in Portland, gosh, I guess like 12, 13 years ago, I lived off of Alberta, which is another neighborhood in the Northeast, but I would walk over through Irvington like on my daily walks, and I dreamed of living in Irvington because it's just this very majestic old Portland neighborhood with big homes on leafy tree-lined streets. A lot of the homes I would say are more like Victorian style, right?
You're gonna have a real mix in the style of homes there, from Victorians to giant craftsmen's to colonial feeling homes. I mean, you really do get a good mix there. And again, the homes are gonna be, 80, 100 years old in that neighborhood. And it's a very, very established neighborhood. So you're gonna pay a premium. So that's probably gonna be one of your most expensive neighborhoods to have that urban feeling, but is also still very neighborhoody. You're not downtown. It's all homes there, and they're bigger homes, but you're still walkable to shops and things like that. And your price point, you're looking at a lot more than Mount Tabor. You really need to have like $1 million budget to 1.2 is like the bulk of the homes that are gonna be in that neighborhood. And of course you can go up from there. That's kind of the price point you're gonna see most of the listings.
We have some friends that live in Irvington, and a couple of years ago we went over to their house for Halloween in the afternoon, and they had a Halloween party, and she told us like our street is peak Halloween, you're gonna love it. And we came over there and it truly was, it felt like such an iconic Portland neighborhood, and the streets were all decorated and kids were out trick-or-treating, and it was just a really beautiful old neighborhood, very family oriented.
Yeah, I love Irvington, but again, it is at that higher price point. But if that fits in your budget to be in that $1 million plus price point, then Irvington 100% could be a great option for you. If you're wanting kind of these like classic homes, but they're big, kind of like you'll get here in Lake Oswego. And again, it does have great public school options for the Irvington neighborhood.
And right next to Irvington, we don't have to get into this one for long, but is Alameda, which is
Yes.
very similar, beautiful neighborhood, old, well-maintained homes. Would you say maybe a little smaller? The homes are a little smaller, a little more compact, and maybe slightly more affordable, but still a very nice neighborhood.
Yeah, way more affordable in Alameda. You know, you can be in that $800,000 price range and up and get a great home there in Alameda. So if you want that same kind of feeling, Alameda could be a great option for you as well. Now, let's talk about where we're at right now after talking about Irvington. If you want something that's more suburban, Lake Oswego could be a good option for you, especially if you're in that $1 million price point.
Yeah, and speaking of Lake Oswego, I take this walk with my son once a week. We drop our daughter off in downtown Lake Oswego for a drawing class, and then our son and I take a walk up through this neighborhood to get a coffee and then over to the library. And right around this corner, we're gonna pass a house that has chickens and a rooster. We always have to stop by and say hi to the chickens and the rooster. And you know, that's one of the things that I mentioned I really love about Lake Oswego is that this downtown area and then First Edition, the neighborhood bordering it, really has a lot to offer in terms of that walkability, a drawing class, ballet for our daughter. Everything we need is really condensed right down here. And then the library is up here. And I think the main thing about Lake Oswego is it's so family oriented.
And so this house right behind us, this is a perfect example of a brand new build within the last few years. But this home is an infill lot. And so you'll get a lot of those in here around Lake Oswego. And that's where they tear down an old home and then a builder builds a brand new home. So you'll see a lot of those if you want a new build in here around Lake Oswego, and reach out to me if that's something you're interested in. We can get a little bit more granular into that topic.
Now, I feel like we're having more clients reach out who are interested in Lake Oswego again now compared to say a year ago. They're able to see more houses on the market.
Yeah.
And you actually have had a number of clients that have put in offers or have been really looking in Lake Oswego again recently.
Right now, we have about 2 months inventory in Lake Oswego and the Portland metro area, which is way more than we had, especially a year ago. And it's been slowly building since this winter. And the market had been kind of slowing down a little bit, but now it's definitely starting. We're getting like an extra little pickup here this summer. So we are seeing some multiple offers in some situations, but if that property is sitting for more than a week or two, you're probably gonna be the only offer on that house.
Until they lower the price, if they do.
And here are the roosters right here. This is a perfect example of an older home right here. We're in First Edition in Lake Oswego, but if you're to buy that home just as it is, you know, it still costs you probably $900,000 in that price point, $800,000. So a builder would want to just, you know, knock that house down most likely and then build a brand new home.
And that's just because First Edition is so coveted because of the walkability and also because you're right off the 43, which is the main road that takes you along the Willamette River into Portland. So from right here, it's 15 minutes into downtown easily, and also into the area along the waterfront with OHSU, the medical center, very bustling area.
Yeah, and this house right here, we're walking past on the corner, has been on the market forever.
We went to a Christmas party and met the listing agent of that house, and it was on the market then. And now here we are in July.
Yeah, so it's a quirky little house, and they might have just lowered it, but it's about $800,000. But it's a super old Victorian style home. I mean, it's all original, literally like 180 years old fixtures in there.
You took a client to see it, right?
I did, yeah. We had to kill some time, so I was like, let's just go check out this for giggles. It's a really neat old house, but the city has it historically designated and protected, so you can't knock it down. You can't really alter the exterior of the house. So that makes it really hard, you know, it's a small 2-bed, 1-bath house. So
It's going to take the right person who just falls in love with it, but it is right across the street from our local library and such a cute neighborhood. So for the right person, who knows?
Yeah, for the right person, I think the city should buy it and donate to the library and make it some cool like little space for the kids.
That would be amazing. Aaron's always buying properties on behalf of the city or suggesting.
Suggestions.
Okay, so if people like the idea of Lake Oswego, the qualities that we're talking about, but maybe it's not quite in their price point, what other neighborhoods would you recommend?
So I also get a lot of clients interested in Beaverton, and not just any part of Beaverton, but Southwest Beaverton. There's a couple of really cute pockets in there. And again, I'm gonna use this word, neighborhoody. I love it when a neighborhood feels neighborhoody. It's a made up word, but I'm gonna roll with it.
Julia Child, who's one of my heroes, used to talk about how the best chicken is really chickeny.
Yes.
So if she could do it,
I
you
can do
can
it
too.
Yeah. So Southwest Beaverton, here are the main points why I love Beaverton, and a lot of my clients do as well that end up moving there. Besides the fact, hey, it feels neighborhoody, it is very safe. There's low crime there. There's lots of walking trails, hiking trails all throughout there. There's sidewalks in the neighborhoods, so it's great for kids to ride their bikes on. It's also really close to a lot of local shopping around there. They've got, library, they've got yoga studios, coffee shops, breweries, your grocery store. All that stuff is going to be within a 5-minute drive.
And it's a lot of newer development out there too, right?
Yep. Yeah, everything is going to be built in the 90s and newer. And then a little further on the west part of it, you can get brand new construction. Most of my clients aren't interested in the brand new construction because those yards tend to be really small. So if you don't care about the yard and you want something that's going to be totally maintenance free, there's a lot of great new build options out there. And those price points start at about $700,000 and go up there. From there. And in Southwest Beaverton, in some of these great pockets, most of those homes were built in the 90s and the early 2000s. And those are awesome, like 4-bed, 2.5 bath is going to be your average home size, 2,400 square feet to 3,000 square feet. And you're pretty much looking at around $650,000, to $800,000 kind of price range right in there. And of course, they can go up to like $1 million if you want, the nicest home on the block and really big. You can get an amazing house. If you were comparing, say, that to a house in Lake Oswego for $1 million, you get way more house. Plus, the school districts are amazing.
And then you're also close to a lot of the major local employers in Beaverton. So Nike headquarters is in Beaverton.
Yep.
Intel is in Hillsboro, which is adjacent to Beaverton. And there are actually a lot of employers that have moved out into that area over the last several years. So that's a draw for a lot of people. And then the other thing about Beaverton is it borders the Southwest, which is where Washington Park is, the zoo, the Japanese gardens. They're just a really cool center there for outings, activities, little day activities.
Yeah, and if you want to pop into the city of Portland to go to some of the nicer high-end restaurants or the quirky shops and things like that in the Pearl District or Nob Hill, you're really close to that. And you can also take the MAX, which is our version of a subway, of a train that can take you from Beaverton right into downtown or the east side of Portland. Now the MAX doesn't cover a ton of areas in the suburbs of Portland, but it does go out west to Beaverton, Hillsboro, into downtown and across northeast and southeast Portland. So if you want that public transportation option, definitely reach out to me and I can send you guys a map of the MAX and what they call the streetcar, which is the route that goes all through downtown.
I think just a couple of other points of comparison between them. Beaverton and Lake Oswego are the west side of the Willamette River, and the west is stereotypically more suburban and a little greener, hillier, more nature. Another consideration is that the west side is closer to the coast, and the Oregon coast is just such a wonderful place, especially in the summertime.
Amazing.
So you're that much closer. Also in Lake Oswego and Beaverton too, you're closer to wine country and a little more rural areas. Whereas if you're looking for that urban city neighborhood feeling, then the east side, Irvington, Mount Tabor is going to be a better choice for you. And those neighborhoods are closer to Mount Hood and skiing and more of those winter sports.
That's right. Couldn't have said it better myself.
But like we said at the beginning, this is only like a handful of a ton of great areas and neighborhoods in Portland, and it really takes coming to visit, talking to people that live here to figure out what's the right pocket for you.
Yeah.
So please reach out. We love it here. We love sharing what we know about it. I think it's also important to say that all those neighborhoods are very safe, and we will have people commenting about Portland and people who are less
how dangerous it is, or
right.
all those kinds of things. Don't believe everything you see in the news. Portland in general is a very safe neighborhood. Yes, crime in general has gone up during the pandemic, since the pandemic, but that's true across all the cities in the US if you're a major US city.
And that's why, if you're curious about a neighborhood or an area and how it's doing, reach out and we will give you our honest take.
Absolutely, yeah. We can get more granular and send you some links on crime data and things like that. So, hey guys, reach out. If you're thinking about moving here, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. And if you're coming out to visit, check out some of these neighborhoods, reach out to me so we can meet up for a couple of hours and we can look at a couple of neighborhoods and see some houses. All right, everybody, I'll see you on the next one.